Hey, are you looking for a simple way to boost communication skills, build relationships, and get your students speaking French first thing in the morning? Let me show you how my How Are You circle has become the most valuable part of our day and how you can start your own too. Hi, I'm Madame Andrea. I'm a French primary teacher, and today I am sharing one of my favorite daily routines, the How Are You circle, or Le Cercle Comment ça va? This activity isn't just about practicing communication orale, although it does a great job of that. It is also a chance to build strong relationships with your students while helping them develop critical speaking and listening skills, all in a supportive, low pressure environment. Here's how it works. Every morning, we gather at the carpet. So my whole class comes to the carpet. We sit on the perimeter of the carpet, and I do use that word with them. And I show them how to, I review the 3 sitting options that we have for sitting on the perimeter of the carpet. We can sit crisscross, we can sit on our knees, or we can sit like in a pike position with our legs out straight. So I find that by giving my students choices, it keeps them comfortable. Like they don't have to sit crisscross applesauce if that's not comfortable for their body. But it also keeps them focused and maintains structure and reminds them, there are expectations and rules that we have to follow. I always use like a talking stick. I don't use a stick. I use a cube. And sometimes, when we're doing 3D shapes, I'll switch it to a cone or I'll switch it to a prism or what have you so we can practice that vocabulary as well. But basically, it's like a talking stick. Only the person who is holding it is allowed to speak and everyone else listens. So we actually practice that before we ever get into the How Are You circle. So I might ask a question that's like, what's your favorite color? And then we pass around the cube and everyone says their favorite color, but you can only talk while you're holding it, etc. Just to really reinforce and practice that you don't talk while you're not holding it. And this kind of just, it really sets the tone for respect and turn taking. And it is an outcome for me if my students can wait their turn to speak and listen actively while others are speaking. At the beginning of the year, I do start this on the first day of school, by the way, but at the beginning of the year, I keep it super duper simple. So I display a little poster that has 3 feelings options. So you can say ça va bien, ça va mal, ça va comme ci comme ça. I'll link the resource that contains the poster below. You can check it out at the end of the video. But it is very simple. That is all we say. Ça va bien, ça va mal, ça va comme ci, comme ça. And we also use gestures like thumbs up, thumbs down, or wiggly thumbs to help them remember. And if someone's not comfortable saying it, at the beginning of the year, I let them just do the symbols. And it always eventually when they're more comfortable, they will say bien, mal, comme ci, comme ça. I always model how to answer first. I'll use a full sentence and say ça va bien. I'll pass the cube to the next student. I'll say comment ça va and their name. Participation is optional in my class. For this activity, they do not have to answer. They can just pass the cube to the next person if they're not ready to share. And a lot of students, at the beginning more so, will choose to do that. Or if they're having a grumpy morning or whatever and they just don't want to share, they know that they don't have to. They can pass it along to the next person, and that is fine. As the year progresses, the circle evolves. So we add more vocabulary, which is also included in the resource that I'll link below. And we'll say things like je suis or je me sens and parce que. So last week I touched on this chant a little tiny bit. It's my How Are You Feelings Chant. So I like to use this chant to introduce new vocabulary words to my students. And you can see on the cards, I do have the words for them. There's masculin, féminin as well. So I will teach a few of these words kind of as we go, and put them up. After we've done the poem the chant for a couple of weeks, I will display these with our How Are You circle display area so students can remember. They're reminded of the different vocabulary words that we now know to share how we feel, and they can even point to them. If they don't remember which one it is, they can point to it and I can help them out. But I do really like to teach them, accurate vocabulary to describe their feelings, because that's really important. Even at a young age, it's important to be able to say I'm bored, or, I feel shy today, or what have you. I feel silly, I'm excited, whatever the case. I want my students to have the vocabulary that they need in order to express how they feel. So I have a chant. We do the chant. It goes bonjour, bonjour, salut, salut, saying belle journée, comment te sens-tu? And then they're not really saying how they like really feel when we do the chant. Like, you know, someone picks a card and they're like, je me sens rigolo or what have you. But that's how we learn the vocabulary. Then I display the vocabulary, and then my students start integrating the vocabulary into their response in our how are you circle. So everything in my classroom is linked. There's always a method to my madness. So we learn more and more words to express ourselves. Now, this can kind of be a catch-22 because I want my students to learn more words and I want them to express themselves and tell us how they feel. Some of my students will talk and talk and talk and never stop talking. So, you know, later on in the year, especially towards the end, I do have to kind of limit them and be like, okay, you can tell me max 2 things today, or try to make a sentence that has 10 words or less, or whatever. And that one I love because it's also working obviously on phonological awareness skills, counting words in sentences. And sometimes, you know, if we're in a really big hurry, I'm like, you have to tell me how you feel in 3 words or less. If we're like, you know, if we have like something going on that morning or what have you. So that's a fun kind of way to limit them, but, you know, make it a little bit of a game so that they don't feel like you don't want to hear them. They just know, you know, it's a different challenge. My students practice speaking clearly, listening respectfully, and reacting appropriately to their peer stories, which are all outcomes that I, you know, like we cover and we talk about what it looks like to listen. I have like a free active listening poster and anchor chart that I'll share about in a future video that we use to remind us how to do active listening. And we also, you know, speaking clearly and enunciating all of that are also outcomes for me in grade 1. So this how are you circle covers so many things aside from just feelings vocabulary, but you know, it builds connections, it helps us with other speaking and listening outcomes. It's just so awesome. But I will say that as the year goes on, the circle time is going to last longer if you don't kind of put some limits on it. So because we want to keep it manageable, and it is a big ask to ask them to sit for a really long time, but I find it naturally kind of fits their stamina. So in the beginning of the year when their stamina is lower, they're shy, they're only going to say like ça va bien, ça va mal, they're not confident enough yet to use a ton of vocabulary. And then as the year progresses and their stamina for sitting and listening is bigger, so is their vocabulary and so is their confidence. So it all just kind of works. I love this activity because it is a window into my students' lives and their worlds. I get to hear about their siblings, I get to hear about their pets, I get to hear about their activities, personal stories, learn about their day, and I can also often spot challenges before they escalate. Because if a student comes in, they're like, oh, I'm grouchy because my mom was nagging me today and she woke me up so early and da-da-da-da. Like, I know that student probably is going to need a little extra time and a little extra care today. So I really like knowing that ahead of time. Or if somebody's like really amped up because it's like their little brother's birthday and they're losing their mind, like, I know that ahead of time thanks to this circle. And it's also a good opportunity to model vulnerability, which is a word I guess I can't say, and build trust, because sharing a little bit about your day encourages students to open up and feel valued, and it makes a safe space where everyone knows that they are safe to share what's true for them. So again, this is great because for your students, it builds confidence in speaking French in a supportive environment. It encourages even shy students to participate, first by listening, then by repeating, and eventually sharing their own thoughts. It teaches critical social skills like active listening, turn-taking, and empathy. And for teachers, it will help you identify students who might need extra support that day, creates a sense of community in your classroom, which has only benefits, and aligns with outcomes and helps you cover and assess outcomes for communication skills and emotional expression. Just a little caveat, I have had students with selective mutism in the past. They often won't share to the whole group even by the end of the year, but I have got them successfully like thumbs up, thumbs down, or whispering to their neighbor if they have a neighbor that they're comfortable talking to, or whispering to me. And then sometimes by the end of the year they will kind of whisper to the class. So just don't pressure, remember it is optional, but keep the door open. Like I always ask them every single day, even if I don't think they're going to answer, I still ask them because I want them to feel valued and important, and eventually with time and progress and confidence, hopefully it'll come. If you are ready to start your own How Are You Circle, you can grab the materials to set yours up and like your bulletin board and all of that as part of this Feelings Chant resource on TPT. I put it all together. So it's the chant as well as the anchor chart pieces and posters and things like that I use in my classroom, plus like a detailed explanation of what you need to do to get started. And the link for that is below this video, so you can find it down there. It'll take you right to TPT. And if you want more guidance, like this is a piece of my oral communication block, if you watch my mot du jour video, if you watch my chants video, those are all pieces of my oral communication block. If you want more details on that and exactly what my block looks like and why I think you should start one, the free guide I will also link below so you can sign up to download that. It has tons of tips and ideas to help you create meaningful communication orale routines in your classroom too. So again, hop below, check those out. Don't forget my mini membership as well. One of the months, I can't remember off the top of my head, does include this resource as part of it. So if that's something that you're interested in and you don't want to pay full price, definitely check out the link to my oral communication speaking and listening mini membership as well. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more teaching tips, comment below if you use a how are you circle or a talking circle in the morning or at any part of your day. I would love to hear it. And if you do something different to start your day, I'd love to know that too. So pop it below, let me know. I'd love to hear your ideas. Have a great day and a great week, and I'll be back next week.